from the Lakeside Newsroom of the Henrico Citizen, your hometown news source since 2001. This is the Henrico News Minute with publisher Tom Lapis.
A big night for some local high school basketball teams, and the Tebow Bill is alive again in the Virginia General Assembly. We'll tell you more in today's Henrico News Minute. It's Tuesday, March 1st, 2022.
And now for the news.
It was a big night for some high school basketball teams from Henrico last night. In Region 4B, Varina defeated Henrico 78-61 to win the regional championship. Both teams will now advance to the state tournament. Varina will host Jamestown in the state quarterfinals, while Henrico will travel to Kings Fork. In Region 5C, it was a double dip of Highland Springs versus Glen Allen in both the boys and girls finals. On the boys' side, Highland Springs took the title with a 61-54 victory over Glen Allen. But the Glen Allen girls got a little bit of revenge. They took out Highland Springs 48-21 to win the girls' regional championship. All four teams also advanced to the state tournament. The Virginia State Senate could consider a bill to allow school boards to decide if homeschooled students in the state could join public school sports teams. Delegate Marie March of Floyd introduced House Bill 511, which advanced on a narrow 50-49 vote there. 2 Republicans voted against the measure and 1 Democrat did not vote. The legislation is also known as the Tebow Bill, named after former NFL star Tim Tebow, who was homeschooled in his home state of Florida but played public school football. March, a Republican, said the bill would not be a statewide mandate but instead would allow local school boards to establish policies permitting homeschooled students to participate in their programs if they wanted to do so. The bill would allow fees to be charged to students to cover participation costs, as well as the cost of additional insurance, uniforms, equipment, and facility upkeep and maintenance. 35 other states have passed similar legislation, according to the Texas Homeschool Coalition. Virginia approved a similar measure 5 years ago, but it was vetoed by former Governor Terry McAuliffe. Governor Glenn Youngkin supports the measure, but it's expected to face challenges in the Senate because there's a slight Democratic edge there. March said that in her district there are no youth sports leagues, but there are youth leagues listed in Floyd County, though not for high school age students. You can read much more about this issue on henricocitizen.com right now by clicking on News and then Government. A bill proposed by 7th District Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger that would prevent members of Congress and certain family members from trading stock while they are in office is building momentum in Congress. It's known as the Trust Act. That stands for Transparent Representation, Upholding Service and Trust. It would require all members of Congress and their spouses and dependent children to place certain assets into blind trusts, preventing them from insider trading. Spanberger's a Democrat. She first introduced the legislation in 2020, then reintroduced it last year. The bill has been referred to the House Committee on House Administration, where it awaits the next steps. Spanberger's original introduction of the bill was prompted by what she called her level of disgust about members of Congress who were buying stock related to pandemic resources at the beginning of the pandemic. A review by Politico in March of 2020 showed that some lawmakers and their families and aides were adjusting investment portfolios in January and February of that year after members of government had been debriefed about COVID before the public was alerted to how the virus might impact their lives. Democratic Representative Susan Davis of California, for example, sold stocks in airlines and cruises, while an aide to Senator Jeanne Shaheen from New Hampshire, also a Democrat, bought stock in Clorox before the market crashed in 2020. Spanberger said her bill would help instill the trust of Congress back into the American people, hence the name of her legislation. She said, quote, "Even the perception of impropriety erodes the trust that the people have in whatever entity or organization that you're working in. To give anyone the idea that a member of Congress is more focused on their financial holdings than they are in that service degrades the trust that people have in Congress," end quote. Now you can read much more about this bill and Spanberger's logic for it at henricocitizen.com right now. Starting tomorrow, the Virginia DMV will expand access to all of its 75 customer service centers. The agency will begin offering both scheduled and walk-in appointments Monday through Friday at each one of them. Currently, appointments are limited to Mondays and Fridays, while walk-ins are accommodated on the other 3 days. Saturdays will remain open for walk-in appointments at the offices that have Saturday hours. Of course, you can also complete a number of options online by visiting dmvnow.com. The Asian American Society of Central Virginia, the local chapter of the Asian Pacific American Advocates, the Korean American Society of Greater Richmond, and Henrico County will join forces to hold a candlelight vigil on March 16th at Short Pump Park in honor of the one-year anniversary of the Atlanta shooting that left several Asian Americans dead. Last year, the organizations hosted a similar event at the same location. This one will be held from 6 to 7 p.m. at the park. It's located at 3329 Pump Road. Candles will be provided on site. Participants are asked to wear masks.